This episode of Healthy Home Hacks is sponsored by the Building Biology Institute. To learn more about creating indoor environments that support health and wellness, visit their free resources at buildingbiologyinstitute.org.
How would you like to improve your health and keep your family safe? You're listening to the Healthy Home Hacks podcast, where we firmly believe enjoying optimal health shouldn't be a luxury. Healthy Home Authorities and husband and wife team Ron and Lisa will help you create a home environment that will level up your health. It's time to hear from the experts. Listen in on honest conversations and gain the best tips and advice. If you're ready to dive in and improve your well-being and increase your energy, you're in the right place. All right, here are your hosts, biobiologists, authors, media darlings, vicarious vegans, and avocado aficionados, Ron and Lisa Barris.
Well, right now you might be listening to this podcast from your car, or maybe you're on the treadmill. But if you're listening from your phone or from a laptop, you may want to create some distance, because I have a question for you. What is invisible, silent, odorless, tasteless, but dangerous? The answer? Radio frequency radiation from your mobile phone, from your wireless mouse or wireless keyboard, mobile phone, even your, baby monitor.
Yeah. And you guys, while that may seem scary, there is light at the end of this dark tech tunnel. Today, we have Liz Mink with us. Liz is a professional EMF consultant in the San Francisco Bay Area. She is a fellow certified building biology environmental consultant and a certified electromagnetic radiation specialist. You've probably never heard of that, and she's going to tell you all about what that is in a minute. Liz has been doing EMF home and office assessments since 2011. Liz is the owner and founder of EMFhealthy.com, so you can visit her there. Welcome to the podcast, Liz. We are so happy you're here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You know what, Liz? Let's just dive right in, okay?
Okay.
So let's start with the first question. Can you tell us the most serious wireless issues? I know people listening are just wondering what is going on in their home, what can they do right away, and what are the things that you find in the majority of homes that you test?
Okay, so most people think that it's the cell tower that is the biggest source of exposure. But I find that probably 95% of the time, the biggest exposures are from the devices in people's own homes. So before I talk about those devices, let me just give you a number that you can remember.
Yeah, so we can quantify this.
Right. And so the building biology extreme concern is over 1,000 microwatts per meter squared. So just remember 1,000, extreme concern.
Okay, and for you guys listening, Liz goes into people's homes with her fancy gadgets and equipment, and she measures this. So you can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it. But this is the number that she's telling us is the danger level that most of us are living with and well beyond, I'm assuming.
If you are listening to this on a Wi-Fi enabled computer or a Wi-Fi enabled laptop, and I would typically measure that where your body would be at about 20,000 to 70,000 microwatts per meter squared.
Well, so how much greater is that than 1,000? So you were getting fried when you were listening, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay.
And think about people who all day long are sitting at that computer and getting that kind of exposure.
So Liz, why are you staring at us when you say that? I'm joking. You're right. It's crazy how much radiation we're experiencing.
Yeah.
And then people wonder why they're so literally zapped by the end of the day. I mean, you hear people say that all the time. I feel so zapped. I feel so drained.
Yeah.
Don't have the energy to go to the gym or the grocery store because you've been sitting in front of that all day.
Yeah.
And so would you say wireless devices, your laptop, your cell phone, anything else that stands out?
Yeah. So the wireless router is a really big one too. And so just depending where it's located, how close it is to you, but let's say it's 3 feet away from you at your desk. And depending on the power of that particular wireless router, you could be getting an extra 70,000 from that. I've measured one just the other day that was over 1 million.
Whoa.
And it was only 3 feet away from where this person
Wow.
was sitting.
Wow, that must have been a massive improvement when they change, I'm assuming, got a hardwired router after that.
How did it get to 1 million? That's crazy.
Some routers are just more powerful than others, and it seems that the newer the router, the more powerful it is. And
right.
And also some of the providers are their routers that they give to clients are very powerful as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. All right, and I know I'm assuming you're gonna talk about this, but cordless phones.
And that one's kind of a sneaker because people have no idea that cordless phone is a very powerful source of radio frequency radiation. Mm-hmm. And it's the base station. And what I mean by that is it's the part of the phone that has the answering machine, the features on it. It's not
right, not the part you pick up and walk around the house, but the actual base where you house it.
Yeah, so if you have an extension, that one's not emitting other than when you use it. But the base station is constantly sending out a really strong signal.
It's basically saying, call me, I'm here.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things that we did too when we started in biobiology was to remove those from our home. And they were everywhere. I think we had like 5 at the time.
On every level.
They were the biggest emitter.
Yeah.
This is a good opportunity. So like right now we're hearing numbers. We're hearing 70,000, 1 million.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great right now if we had something called an RF detector analyzer that gives off a noise when it's next to a mobile device that's giving off high radiation? Well, the great news is we do. So we have...
well, it's not just giving off a noise. It's literally picking up the signal, and we're going to hear what our body actually feels.
That's right, because with the phone, when we put it on airplane mode, we didn't get into this too, it actually lessens the RF radiation that we're experiencing. So we're going to give you a little sound test. And by the way, this device that's coming in here, and thank you, Orem Miller, who's a colleague of Liz and another expert.
Welcome, Orem.
Welcome, Orem. welcome, Orem. We want to hear what it sounds like when we just have our phone on airplane mode and we switch it.
So this is just in airplane mode. We're getting no signal.
There is a background level of RF from the router in your neighbor on the other side of the wall. But go ahead and take that out of airplane mode.
And it takes a little while for it to register.
And that's not even making a call. That's just my phone on now.
Well, what it's doing, you've had it in airplane mode for the last 10 minutes. It's reconnecting with the cell tower and getting updates, downloads. And that was about 8,000 microwatts per meter squared. But I agree with Liz. I've seen hundreds of thousands of microwatts from these devices.
I just downgraded to 3G because I was on the 4G, and so I'm sure we would have got a much higher reading had I. Yeah.
Well, very good. Well, at least it gives an idea of a sound. And you don't want that sound because that sound's your body's being subjected to this environmental radiation, and we're all, let's face it, semiconductive, right? And so we're taking on that resonance. Liz, what's a good alternative to like a baby monitor, for example?
Oh, great question. Baby monitors are actually very powerful. They can be like a router, and it's right there in the baby's room. And so there is a baby monitor that I measured, and it is a low radiation monitor. And it truly is low. It only gives off a strong signal when the baby cries. And it's an Angel Care, and the model is 420. And so for people who need to have a baby monitor, it's a great solution. And the other alternative is literally just to use your ears if you just get rid of that baby monitor.
Like in the old days.
Right.
You had to listen for your baby to cry. You didn't have all these devices, right?
Yeah.
And I think that we have become so codependent on our devices with not just baby monitors, but shoving kids in front of their tablets and, as a babysitting device. And so that's a great point. Like, do you really need it? We've survived a long time without all of this.
Hundreds of thousands of years, people raise their children.
Children are healthier.
And the children survive.
And today we've got, the diseases that have been increasing with autism and allergies and autoimmune disorders and all of these learning disabilities and correlating with the increase of all these wireless devices is no coincidence. Tell me what you suggest to people who are currently using Wi-Fi in their home or office. They want to get rid of it. They want to go hardwired, but maybe they're running into a snafu with their wireless provider, whether it be Cox or Roadrunner or Infinity or Comcast.
So we say that there's good, better, and best.
Okay.
And we also tell people that any reduction in exposures is worth doing. So something that people can do immediately is unplug your router at night. That will make a huge difference. And then the step after that would be, and it varies by provider, and the equipment can be different. But in general, if people get a separate modem and router, then they can have more control. And the modem is the device where the internet connection comes in. So they have one hardwired internet connection. They have their cable and possibly their phone in this modem. The router gives them typically 4 more ports for hardwiring, plus it gives them the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So if they have separate modem and router, they can control the wireless. And for example, the Netgear routers have a real easy on-off button so that they can switch the Wi-Fi on and off when they want to. So that's the router that I'll typically recommend if they want to use Wi-Fi on occasion.
That's good.
And not to put you on the spot, how much would a router like that typically cost on average, the ballpark?
Maybe you can get routers for $50 or $100 easily.
Right, but they go up depending on the quality. But you're saying the newer ones potentially are posing more risk.
Yeah.
If you've got an old one that's working, it's probably better to stick with it.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier before the podcast and how you really kind of, with a lot of things in life and your health, you have to be your own detective and you've got to take things into your own hands. And if your provider, your internet provider says, hey, we don't have what you need, well, then you go out and you find it, and you find a building biologist near you who can assess your home and help you do that.
And the provider can generally tell you what separate modems are compatible with their service. So their tech support can give you that information.
Make sure to stay tuned for part 2 with Liz Menkes as she discusses how you can save yourself from the wireless hazards in your home.
If you want to learn more, take classes, learn how you can help, and be a voice in your community for change, visit www.buildingbiologyinstitute.org.
This episode of the Healthy Home Hacks podcast has ended, but be sure to subscribe for more healthy living strategies and tactics to help you create the healthy home you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best content. See you on the next episode.